What's going on, guys? It is tier list time once again, and I'm going to be doing a tier list on every single Berserk cover, except I couldn't find a tier list maker that had volume 41 on it, so that one's not here. Also, volume 42, the cover just got released a few days ago, so there's no tier list with that on it either, but I will give you my ideas of where I would rank those. Before I begin, though, I do want to give a shout out to a Patreon subscriber of mine, Saad Hanashi, who started his YouTube channel. He has a couple of videos out so far, Berserk related, makes some really good content, very well edited, well crafted, well structured content. Like, if you like hate the editing of my videos, then you'll probably love the editing of his. Like, the editing is really, really good. Started his channel up talking about Berserk. We need more Berserk YouTubers out there, even though I don't consider myself like a fully Berserk YouTuber, but I enjoy talking about Berserk. So that is there. Check that out, guys. And also, you know, get him to 1,000 subs, man. He's at 239. If we can get him to 300 by the end of the month and maybe 1,000 by the end of the year, you know, I think that's possible. I think that's plausible. Go ahead and give him some love, give him a shout out, tell him Ryan sent you. I will link his channel and his social medias down in the description below, so give him a shot, tell him what you think. But the ground rules for this tier list, because I like to give myself some ground rules so we're not going crazy here. First of all, I'm basing this on the cover art itself and how I feel about it, not on the contents therein. Also, I am only limiting S tier to 5 spots because I feel like people go too crazy with S tier sometime, because if everything is S tier, then nothing is S tier. You know what I mean? If everyone's super, then nobody's super, right? It has to be special. It has to be limited. It has to be reserved for the best of the best. And so I'm going to give myself a limit and say that S tier is only allowed 5 options. All right. So going into that, let's go. Also, there's no F tier because I don't think any artwork here is F tier. I mean, come on, give me a break, right? So the first one with Guts, you know, just his kind of floating torso in this white void, you know, which is never weird until someone points it out. Like, you never notice that Guts' lower body just doesn't exist here. But it's iconic, man. It's the image you see first when you start bringing up Berserk in the manga and everything. And so, like, even though it's very simplistic, it represents the beginning of the story, and in many ways the cover art of volume 1 represents Berserk. So I think that number 1 has to go in S tier because it has that legacy power to it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you look at that, like, when you bring up Berserk in general, that's the volume cover you see, and that's why it deserves to be S tier. The second one I really like because it shows something that you don't really see a lot of in the manga itself, which is Guts kind of cleaning out and restocking his arm cannon that he has. I like the inner mechanics of it, and I remember when I was doing the Monster Manual video of it, you know, kind of going into the mechanics of how it all works and where he stores the gunpowder and stuff. I think it's really unique and cool, so that's going to go A tier for me. The next one I absolutely love, even though it's never featured in the manga. It's Guts beheading a dragon with the Dragon Slayer. And I swear to God, like, well, I have a few minor gripes of Berserk, but I will have a legitimate major gripe if the story ends and Guts does not slay a dragon with the Dragon Slayer. All right, Grunbell doesn't count. All right, I want a legitimate dragon. But it's an awesome cover nonetheless. I'm going to put it in A tier, right above volume 2. The next one for volume 4 is Guts, kind of a younger version of him, just kind of standing victorious. It's a good, my pop stopper's falling. I need to get a new one. I need to get a new one of these, man. It's a pretty good image of Guts, but there's nothing else to it that really kind of pulls it together. Like, there's a lot of better ones, so I'm going to put that in B tier. The same thing with the next volume. I like seeing Guts' design, you know, with his armor and his helmet and everything, and he hasn't worn a helmet really since the Golden Age arc, but guess, you know, once you get just so headstrong, you don't need a helmet anymore. You know, it's good, but it's like, you know, there's a lot better options. The Volume 7 cover, I've always really enjoyed. Some people don't like it because, one, Guts is holding a shield, and he never uses a shield in the manga. But let's not forget, Guts slayed a dragon on the cover of Volume 3, and he's never killed a dragon. I don't mind the shield look, you know what I mean? It never bothered me. Also, some people don't like it because Casca looks like way too, I don't know, just kind of girly, I guess. But, like, Casca is a girl, and she does have a pretty predominant feminine side, you know, underneath everything. So that's never bothered me either. I kind of like it, man. I like the two of them together. I'm going to put it at a high B tier. The next one with Griffith and Guts I've always really liked because it always kind of reminded me of like the Bonfire of Dreams and the Fire Inferno, because you see Griffith there with his hair in the wind and then Guts kind of in that orangey color. It always kind of reminded me of like the fire, you know, the bonfire. So I'm going to put that up in A tier. I'm going to put it above these two because I like that one a lot. The Volume 9 cover, Volume 9 is one of my favorites because it has wounds in it, but we're only going by the cover. It does have Salat on the cover, which I enjoy, and he looks really creepy. Like, if you didn't know and you only looked at the cover and you saw Salat on the cover of this, you'd think he was some kind of weird creature or apostle, but no, he's just a lanky guy that has a lot of weird weapons. I'll put it in a high B tier. We'll put it there. The next one is good because it shows you all the Band of the Hawk. You know, it's one of the few times, and I think the only time, like Rickert and Corcus and Pippin get to be on a cover, so that gives it some credit. So I think I'm going to put it at an A tier down there. This got tangled in here. This is actually the guidebook cover, which is cool because it shows you all of the current cast members, but it's nothing like too terribly special, so I'll put it in C. Next one, obviously, is going to be a high A tier, Skull Knight. Actually, this one might... I said I'm limiting to 5, so I got to think about this. But I really like this one, just because of like that rusted aesthetic Skull Knight in the background. Yeah, I'm going to put that. Yeah, Skull Boy, Skull Daddy, I mean, he gets it, man. He gets it. I think that one is one of the best. It really is. It also is kind of like showing the dynamics and the theme of Guts as himself, and then this looming figure of Skull Knight behind him, kind of like a precursor of what he might be or what he might become. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Next one, Volume 11, is cool. It shows Zod on it, which is awesome, and Rosine, even though Rosine is not in the manga yet. But it's pretty good. It has the... I wish it had Wild on the cover, though, because it's the only volume where Wild is a predominant force, and he's not on the cover. So, you know, it's good, but I'll put it in a B tier also. Now, the next two are absolutely iconic, and I think some of the best. I don't know if I want to throw... If I'm limiting S tier to 5, I don't know if I want both of them up there, but I'm definitely putting Volume 13. So I think 12, I'll put high A tier. I'll put that as the highest A tier. And then 13 is obviously like, other than Volume 1, Volume 13 is the most iconic Berserk volume cover. Just Guts holding Casca, both of them bleeding everywhere, both of them just kind of completely... you know, renowned in this disaster of the eclipse with all of the demons behind them and the god hand, you know, above them. Like, it is such a hardcore cover. It also reminds me of like one of those old Conan paintings where everyone is just so hyper muscular, and, you know, you have like the naked girl on there, and it's just like, it just reminds me of those like old school Conan photos. And I really don't think like any cover has quite beaten that up until this day. You know, I might put it at number... I might put it there. No, you know, I'm going to put it first. I think I'm going to put it first just because it's so massively iconic. Volume 14 is good. It's one of the few with Puck on it, which I like. Guts is also looking very beefy. Again, kind of like reminiscent of like that old school kind of like Conan paintings. I like it a lot, but I'll put it at a high B tier. Next one with Guts versus Rosine. Rosine also herself looking very ethereal, very majestic, you know, as Guts is kind of like crouching down, trying to attack her. So I've always liked this one a lot. I'll put that A tier also. I'll put it right after Volume 12. This one always kind of like confused me because the cover doesn't feature a creature that we really know. I mean, you could say it's Zod, you know, but the purple or pinkish color scheme of the creature that Guts is fighting, I don't know. I feel like it's always been kind of a random one. It's like we didn't know what to make for the cover for this one, so it's just Guts swinging a sword at an apostle. So I don't know, man. It's like it's around here for me. Next one I really like as well because anytime Puck gets... I like... Because Guts is on like all the covers, right? Whenever there's a cover that has other characters that you don't see very often, like Puck or the Band of the Hawk, you know, I always like seeing that. So that's going to be a relatively high one for me. I think I'll put it right around here. And the next one is great. It just doesn't represent anything that's actually happening in the volume itself. It's a great like Guts versus Zod image with, you know, Griffith in the background. Pretty damn cool. I don't know if I want to put it in S tier. I'm just thinking what else I'm going to put in there. I think 34 is a given. So if I'm limiting to 5, I think that'll be it. I think that I'm going to put this one because it has Guts fighting Zod, which I think is really cool. Actually, let me order these. I would put that one above there, and I would put that there. And let me just jump ahead, because Volume 34 is so cool. Just the design of Femto, the color scheme, too. It's like Femto and Zod, and also it does represent very well the story of what's happening in Volume 34 with, Femto essentially unleashing the astral world on the planet and kind of taking full control. So I think those three... I think this is my top 3 in S tier. I think it's 13, 10, and 34. And then 1 is there for the iconic status. And then this one is here because it's just Guts versus Zod, which is cool. So I jumped ahead. Sorry. Next one, Guts kind of jumping with the full moon. Very, very cool. I would put it probably in A tier also. I'll put it right after the dragon. It's hard to beat the severed head dragon. Casca, I like the imagery of this one too, because it's Casca kind of holding the child as if in the womb, but then it's like feathered, like the hawk, like she was infected by Griffith, so it's one of those kind of really, one of those deep, moment kind of covers that really kind of hits you hard. But I feel like we got a lot going on here, so I feel like it has to be B tier. Has to be B tier. Griffith in his like stupid feathery armor, with the hawk behind. I mean, yeah, he's elegant. Yeah, he's handsome, but like, come on, man. I don't know. This one will be, it's also B tier. I don't know where to put it exactly. I'll put it right behind Salat. It's fine. This one is fine also. Like, it's just Guts and Griffith back to back. I mean, it very well represents the Hill of Swords moment that happens in the manga, but if we're just basing it on the cover art itself, I mean, they're not really doing anything. It's just Guts and Griffith with a white background, so I think I'll put that down in my C tier. We don't have any C tiers except for the guidebook, so I gotta add. It's gotta be more variety. We gotta have some more variety here. The next one is fucking great, Guts with the Beast of Darkness and Casca, so it's gotta be pretty high. I'll put it around here, A tier. This one I really like seeing too because it's the entire cast, but again, they're not really doing anything. It's just kind of like the heads, it's just one of those, it kind of reminds me of those like floating head movie posters where it's like, I mean, obviously the art is good. It's good to see the characters, but it's not anything too spectacular. So I'll put it there. The next one, however, I think is a lot more spectacular because there's more going on. It shows all of the characters again, but it's not just their heads. They're all kind of doing something. Like Shirke is performing her magic, and I think Serpico has his cloak and sword there too, and then Guts with his sword. So this one is a lot cooler in my opinion. I'll put this one up here right next to the moon. This one, the beaten kind of bloodied Guts, always good to see. Does it deserve to be very high, though? I don't know. I feel like it deserves a mid-B tier. We'll put it above Griffith's stupid armor. And this one I really liked because this is kind of like, kind of showing an update of Guts now. Because we had that original Guts Volume 1, and now this version has him in the Berserker armor and also with, like, the white hair, from the effects of the armor. So I've always really liked this one. But I do think it's going to be also a B tier. We'll put it right next to Casca. This one, actually, this is probably my only other contender for S tier. Just seeing the Berserker armor with the dragon. I actually have like a giant poster of that. You can't see it on the camera, but I have a giant poster of this particular volume cover because I love it so much. But the question is, do I move the Zod one down to put this one in S tier? Or do I put this at high A tier? That's the question. I would hate to lose motherfucking Zod from this list, but I forgot how much I love this one. It also kind of like reminds me of like Spawn, it reminds me of like old gothic media, vampire shit. I don't know. Dude, I don't know. Don't question it. I don't know. I'm moving it down. All right. So that's going to be my S tier now. I'm sorry. I forgot this one. I forgot how much I like this one. S tier is solid now. It's not going to change again. There's nothing else that's going to make it change. It's solid. All right. It's solid now. Now, these ones, I always kind of like was a little bit underwhelmed by some of the later covers because they are all very similar. Like, they're all just very close shots of Guts. Like, this one, what are we at? 29, 30, 31, you know, and these ones too. Like they're all just very, very similar. And it's not that it's bad, you know, it's not bad art, obviously. It's Kentaro Miura, but they're all just kind of the same. So for me, this is going to be like a barrage of C tier. You know, it's just going to be like, these are kind of like very, very similar, very similar. This one's different, though. The one with Guts and Zod, the team up, that one I'll put a bit higher. I think that one deserves to be probably around here. But these ones, and like this one too, down here, I'll just put this one up here. Like these are all these are just way too similar. Like I want more variety. I want different characters. I want to see different poses other than just like close-up shots of Guts, right? Because not that I don't love seeing Guts' beautiful face, but we have enough of that, right? This one with Griffith, I mean, it makes sense for the volume that it is. I'll put it right there. That seems fair. This one, yeah, Guts fighting the sea creatures again. I think this one's a little bit better than the rest because it is more of a dynamic image, but I still don't think it's great, right? Again, Guts in the Berserker armor. I think it's better than these ones, but still not great. Still not great. I'll put it there. This one too, you know, is kind of like very similar. It's kind of like our third update. Like we have Guts, the upper body shot from volume 1, and then what was it, 28, I think, and then this one, 37. So all very good, but I'll put it below this one. So I'll put it again in B tier. Now, this one I like, although this was when I think the covers really switched to digital art. It might have switched a little bit before this, but you can definitely tell that this is more of like the digital vibe that's going on. Although I do like it, and I like that it's our introduction to Elfhelm, and that's what you really see on the cover. I like when the covers really represent also like what you're going to get in that volume. So I like this one a lot. I don't think it's quite A tier, but it's definitely a higher B tier. I'm going to put it here. Yeah, that's good. And then, of course, Volume 40, which is the Casca Dreamscape. And I really love this cover because it's got the black and white. It's got the Dreamscape aesthetic. It's got the Guts Hound, you know, that Casca sees him as in her mind. So this one is really cool to me. I'm going to put it up in A tier. I think I'll put it right below the Zod one. All right. So that's my ranking, and that's my list for the ones available here. The only two that aren't on here are Volume 41, which is the first Studio Gaga cover. I would put that pretty high. I'd put that in an A tier. I would probably put it right next to 41, actually. Probably right after. Probably right after. So that one would go like right here. And then the new cover that they released, I also think is very cool. It's very vibrant. But it has a lot of stuff going on, which is what I like. I like to see multiple characters. I like to see dynamic images. So I would also probably put that in A tier. But a little bit further down, I would put it probably after the Puck and Guts one here and before Volume 2. So that's where I would put the new ones. So that is my list. Call it definitive, call it whatever you want. It's just one person's opinion. That's my list of the artwork itself of all of the Berserk covers. So tell me, guys, what you think down below. Also, I'll link both this tier list in the description so you guys can do the tier list yourself if you want to. And like I said, go ahead and subscribe to my boy Saad Hanashi. Give him some love, give him some comments, let him know Ryan sent you. I'm sure he's got some good content coming up in the future, so you guys can check that out. So let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and subscribe to him. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, leave your thoughts, leave your rankings if you want to. And other than that, guys, I just hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time.